A very warm and inclusive welcome to Dublin for the Scientific Day of the Retina International World Congress 2024. Just a few announcements before we get underway. If you want to check your watches, that is 8:30 Irish time. It's a phenomenon. You'll get used to it. The first announcement is there are no planned fire drills. So if the fire alarm goes off, it's for real. There are fire exits at the back of the room, the side of the room, and one to the right-hand corner of the room, and there are plenty of staff to get everybody out safely. So do not panic, but if the fire alarm goes, it's for real. May I ask you all to put your phones on silent or to turn them off, which is even better, because then everybody focuses more on what's happening on the stage. There will be a little bell sounding 2 minutes before the end of each presentation, and that will invite the speaker to wrap up and offer a Q&A. A very short Q&A it will be. But there are roving microphones, so if you want to ask a question, raise your hand, and Laura or Ella will come with a microphone. Well, we have a fabulous program here today. I would also like to remind people that at breaks, or if you want to miss a session, please visit the upper ground floor to look at the posters, meet the exhibitors, our sponsors, and our supporters. That's it from me. I'd like to give a very warm welcome to the professor who found the first gene associated with sight loss, Professor Jane Farrar.
Thank you. Thank you, Neil. I'm just checking the mic here. We actually, unbeknownst to Neil, swapped the order of events. So I'm going to just welcome Franz to the stage now to give his introduction, and then there we go. Okay.
I take it with.
Yeah, perfect. Here we go. So this is Franz Badura, who's chairperson of Retina International, and he's going to open this event.
Thank you, Jane. Dear ladies and gentlemen, distinguished audience, from the bottom of my heart, it is really my great pleasure, honor, and a privilege to let me welcome all of you on behalf of Retina International, Fighting Blindness Ireland, and all organizers to the 22nd Retina International World Conference here in Ireland, the beautiful Dublin, the capital of the state of Ireland. We all know this was a very, we had bad times over the last years due to the COVID pandemic. This meeting should already took place on 2 years ago, but finally we overcame this period and now it's 2024. And for me, please allow me this personal note, it's like a déjà vu. 34 years ago already, in 1990, there also was the conference here in Dublin at Trinity College, and I remember really very well. I was a young student, studied biology, because I got my diagnosis 2 years ago, and I was convinced I should become a researcher, but I have to realize at that time already it wasn't able, because I was no longer able to draw cells from a microscope to a piece of paper. This is the reality, but at that time I was able to walk alone through Dublin, to go to the park and to do everything alone. 34 years later, I'm no longer able, I need assistance nearly at everything I have to do. This is the reality for a patient, this is a patient journey, but we are used to adapt our life, and it is always a challenge. But we learn to live with this unbidden guest, the best metaphor I ever heard from Christina Fasser, and I give her a very warm welcome. Christina, the former president of Retina International, she served as a president for unbelievable 28 years. Thank you, Christina, for joining us. this unbidden guest comes in your life. You never invited him. He's all the day on your side, and you can't kick him out. He's here when you wake up in the morning until you close your eyes in the evening. But it is how it is. I'm sure I will forget something, but I don't want to forget to give also a very warm welcome to Mr. Michael Griffiths. Michael, I hope you're already here. I don't met you before. He was one of the founders for Fighting Blindness Ireland. Michael, are you here? Hey, good morning. My old friend. And then, of course, I have to thank a lot of people. Firstly, the team of Fighting Blindness Ireland with Neil and Finbar and the whole team. Thank you for hosting us this year, and thank you for organizing. I think, and I'm convinced, this will be 2 wonderful and very, very interesting, exciting days ahead. And thank you for putting together this brilliant program. Thank you. Also a big thank you, of course, to Retina, to the team of Retina International, and firstly to our brilliant CEO, Avril Daly, Avril and the whole team, Kelly, Katrina, Neil, Nabin, Sinead, and Andy. Thank you for doing all this work, and I know it was very, very busy over the last, I think, 3-4 months, and you did a great job. You have to be aware, Retina International has its office here in Dublin, and since 2022, we are the first international registered NGO here in Ireland. We moved from Switzerland to Ireland, and it was longer than we thought it had to be, but finally we succeed, and now we have a small, but a very strong and a very keen team here in Dublin. Thank you for the work. We will continue this traditional series of meetings we have since 1980, and featuring a well-balanced mixture of presentations from senior scientific experts as well as distinguished patient advocates. Please enjoy with, I heard the final number, nearly 400 participants from all over the world, and join us in eye-opening presentations and lively discussions. As I mentioned already, 34 years after sequencing the first rhodopsin gene, and it was announced at this Dublin conference, 1990, and nearly 5 decades of a very hard but a very necessary work on the basics in our field. Now we absolutely more than round the corner to discuss not only new therapeutic strategies and the prospects of translational intervention in retinal diseases, but also a lot of ongoing clinical trials and new therapeutic targets. But when we think about clinical trials, there has to be a change, I think, in assessing and setting up clinical trials for IRD. We had a brilliant satellite meeting 2 days ago already, and a big thank you to Professor Hélène Dollfuss, Professor Bart Leroy from Ghent, and David Keegan from Ireland to organize this brilliant multi-stakeholder meeting. And we had, I think, a very substantial outcome of that meeting to switch something, especially for the perception of the regulatory entities. Stabilization and slowing down the progression of the disease for us as patients it's tremendous, it's unbelievable, it's many, and they don't understand. And we have to realize this bad experience over the last few years. They always want improvement. It is a dream when we can improve our vision. For us, it's a success when it's stable and when it's slowing down. This is the reality, and we have to educate the regulatory entities to understand this fact. At the end, I think I forgot something, but for all of you, I wish really 2 intensive and exciting days, and so I declare open our incentive, fruitful and necessarily interdisciplinary dialogue, which we want to inspire in order to foster synergies between several disciplines, nations, generations, and please enjoy the Retina International World Conference 2024, Shaping the Future for Vision Research. Thank you. And at the end, final sentence, as a patient, and I'm a patient since decades, sometimes you feel really bad, you feel sad, you feel depressed, but at the end, always is hope. It is hope somewhere over the rainbow. Thank you. And now I want to hand over to the scientific head of the organizing committee, Professor Jane Farrer from the Trinity College. Jane, please.
Well, I don't think I can follow that, actually. I don't really quite know what to say. That I was so beautiful, so pure. And I think it probably mirrors the motivation of patients. It mirrors the motivation of our charities, of people and scientists and clinicians with that purity. And thank you so much, Franz. That was amazing, amazing. So I'm actually going to just this is Franz here as well as introduction. It's a bugle. But I'm just going to say a few words. The first thing I want to say is thank you to every single person who is in this audience today, who is online, with us online, who's here in person, because this is the reason that we're here. Everybody counts. Everybody counts. Every patient, every family member, every scientist, every clinician, every funder, every sponsor, every regulator, every manufacturer. We have to get everybody working together. And we have an exciting day ahead where there are real innovations, cutting-edge innovations going to be talked about. But we know it's too slow. We know we have to find ways to speed it up for everybody. I have to thank people, Retina International, Fighting Blindness, our host, the amazing teams, Avril, Franz, the team in Retina International, the team in Fighting Blindness, Finbar, Neil, Katrina, Claire, Ellen, Shannon. I'm going to forget somebody, and I'm so sorry, there are so many of you, but thank you so much. The organizing committee as well. Thank you for helping to put this together with everybody working together. It's amazing. Bear with me for a couple of minutes. I want to give you a little history. A little Irish retinal degeneration history. First is, it was an Irish ophthalmologist, Arthur Jacobs, that defined the retina. He didn't call it the retina. He called it Jacobs membrane. But of course it got redefined as the retina. And that was 1819. We're going to jump more than a century later, about 150 more than that later. We're going to jump to the 1980s. And of course, in Ireland, there's a pint of Guinness everywhere. At the heart of everything is a pint of Guinness. And we were in the Guinness storehouse on Wednesday evening. It was amazing. But this is a very special pint of Guinness. Because actually, in the 80s, Paddy Byrne, who is no longer with us, Michael Griffith, who is in the audience and wonderful to see him, they went to pubs, sold tickets for a really awful car, and raised the first money in those people who drank a bit of Guinness too much and bought a ticket for 100 Irish punts at the time. So to raise the first research that was done, it was done in Trinity College Dublin. And it was done in this building initially. And again, there's Irish history of this building. This was a building in Trinity College Dublin. It used to be an eye hospital. We were always meant to do eye research there, genetics research there. And in fact, the eye hospital was set up by Oscar Wilde's father, Sir William Wilde. That's where we started doing genetics in Trinity. That's the link. There are so many links. We are a tapestry with beautiful threads. There are so many threads going through that tapestry. I can't move further without mentioning two other people who were at the very beginning as well. And that's Pete Humphreys and Paul Kenna. I get to choose the slides, which is fantastic. So this is them in Japan in kimonos. Fantastic. And of course, I worked with them for many, many years. They can't be here for different reasons today, but we do miss them. The other person that was there at the beginning, even a little bit before Pete and Paul, was Professor David McConnell, the head of discipline at the time in genetics, who persuaded a very young PhD student to start in retinal degenerations, yours truly, actually, who thought naively it wouldn't take that long, actually, and I'd have my PhD sorted. I just want to take one more step and say the link to the last meeting. The last meeting in 1990, 24 years ago, 34 years ago, I can't count, it turns out. 34 years ago, we thought that we had things, we had the first gene. We thought it was sorted. We thought, oh, we know. But we were so wrong. We were so wrong. We needed to get more people together, to get collaboration. We have 300 plus genes. And so since that, we've got on the Ireland and globally collaboration of lots of people, David Keegan, Julie Silvestri, in a project called Target 5000, trying to define the genetic causes of IRDs, and also focusing on therapies. So looking to now and the future, going from 3 genes to 300 genes, going to 120 clinical trials for ocular disease. That's where we're at. But we need to make this even more global. We need to accelerate the process and the timelines. We need to work with every single stakeholder, from the academic right through to the manufacturing, to industry, to regulators, to bring everybody together to expedite the processes, to speed things up for the retinal degeneration community. It's very exciting, it's very cutting edge, but we will always look to improving the process and speeding it up. So that global stakeholders involved is essential, that collaboration between all of us, between everybody. So now it is my absolute honor to introduce the first speaker. She needs no introduction to any of us, for sure. She's impossible to actually put into words what she means, I think, to everybody. She has paved the pathway for ocular gene therapy globally. She has given all of herself, all of her time, her commitment, her care, her dedication. She is truly, whoops, a minute, crazy. I don't know what happened to my slide there, but something happened to the slide. Apologies. This is Jean.